You wake up at 5 in the morning in a room you share with 3 others. The ceiling is less than a meter from the top bunk. The noisy air can be the only sound that drowns out the city noise outside. You look at the ceiling and think, this is what I came all this way for. The name alone carries a promise. Glass towers pierce artificial cloud. Cars you've only seen in magazines. Buildings that seem to have been designed by someone who's never heard the word limit. It's the place where the impossible became a postcard, where the desert became a skyline, where nothingness became the most photographed scenery on the planet. But there's something no postcard. There's something no influencer stories. There's a layer beneath the gold that most people never see. They've never gotten close into cracking. And it's exactly this layer that we're going to explore today. Start from the beginning. Dubai is not a city that grew organically over centuries, like Rome, like Lisbon, like Sao Paulo. Dubai was built deliberately, with surgical speed. In less than 50 years, a region of pearl fishermen became the global luxury capital. This is not a metaphor. The grandfather, if we're still alive today, would wake up in the morning, take a wooden boat, dive into the Persian Gulf, and gather oysters bare hand. The grandson of that same man today parks a Lamborghini in a climate-controlled garage on an 80-story skyscraper. This transformation is real. It is documented. It is impressive, but it was paid for with something. And that something has a cost that continues to be collected every silent from people that most of the world chooses to ignore. Let's talk about numbers for a second, because numbers don't lie. Dubai has a population of approximately 3.6 million people. Of those 3.6 million, only about 11% are Emirati citizens. The other 89% are expatriates, workers from abroad. The overwhelming majority come from South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. They build the building, they clean the hotels, they drive the taxi, they erect the scaffolding 45 degrees Celsius, while tourists sip chilled drinks 10 meters below in an infinity pool overlooking sea. This is not fiction, it's the economic. And this model works through something called the kafala system, an Arabic word that means sponsorship. In practice, what this means is that your visa, your right to be in the country, is directly linked to your employer. You don't exist as an individual before the state. You exist as an extension of a company. If the company decides to terminate your contract, you have a deadline to the country. If you try to change jobs without authorization, you can be deported. If you flee an abusive employer, technically you are in an illegal. The system has undergone reforms. That's true. Some protections have been, but the structural roots still exist, and stories have still come in. Confiscated passports, salaries delayed for months, workers living in overcrowded accommodations, transported in unventilated vans, invisible to the Dubai that appears in photographs. But wait, because this story has more layers that seem. Now let's talk about you, not the construction worker. From you, who perhaps arrived here with a suitcase, a work contract at a tech company, or an airline, or a marketing agency. You arrived in the average Dubai. The one who lives alone in an apartment, who eats at restaurants sometimes, who posts photos at the Burj Khalifa on weekends. You're not rich, but you're not invisible either. You're in the middle, and the middle in Dubai is psychologically exhausting because the city was designed to create comparison. Every corner is a shop window. Every shopping mall is a status. The Dubai Mall isn't simply a shopping center. It's a philosophical. It's the idea that consumption is the universal language, and that those who don't speak this language fluently are, in some way, falling behind. The ice rink inside the mall is its charm, its narrative. It's the message that here, even the impossible has been bought, and open to the public for it. Social pressure in Dubai has a specific texture. It's not aggressive. It's passive. It happens at lunch when someone casually mentions their new car. It happens in conversation. The question, where do you live, is actually asking something. Neighborhoods in Dubai are hierarchy. Downtown, Palm Jumeirah, DIFC, Business Bay, and then the rest. Each postal code carries a subtext, and people know how to read that subtext with surgical precision. And then there's the phenomenon of credit. Dubai doesn't have income tax. That's real, and it's genuinely attractive. But the real cost of living, considering rent, children's schooling, healthcare without public subsidy, food, transportation, leisure, consumes a huge chunk of the salary. Many people who seem to be living well in Dubai are in fact practically saving nothing. They are spending what they earn, or more than they earn, to maintain the appearance of a life that Dubai itself does. This has a name. It's called social debt, and it accrues interest. But there's another aspect that few people mention when talking about Dubai. An aspect that isn't about money is perhaps the most corrosive of all. It's the aspect of impermanence. Dubai is not a place where people put down roots. It's a place of transit. Most people are there temporarily, even when they've lived there for 10 years, because citizenship is practically impossible to obtain, because a residency visa depends on employment, because when the company lays you off, the clock starts ticking. There is no structural safety. There is no permanent identity of being from Dubai. You are always, on some level, passing, and this creates something strange in the city's sociology. Friendships are intense and ephemeral. Communities form and dissolve in cycles of 2 or 3 years. When someone leaves, when the family decides to return home. There is a particular loneliness in building a life, knowing that it has an expiration, that the neighborhood you know, the restaurant that your favorite, the people with whom you built a routine, all of it can be dismantled in an HR email. There are accounts of people who stay in Dubai for years and never build anything resembling a sense of belonging, who live in an expatriate bubble, a city within a city, completely disconnected from the local culture, which is itself difficult to access. Emirati society has its own spaces, its own codes, its own invisible boundary. The average expatriate does not cross the. He lives in a parallel Dubai, made up of other expatriates, international cuisine, WhatsApp groups organized by nationality, nostalgia for the country, discomfort with what he found. Now let's talk about luxury exists, and it would be honest. The Burj Khalifa exists, the beaches exist, the Michelin-starred restaurants exist, the sky-wide firework displays exist. Dubai manages to produce experiences that genuinely don't exist anywhere else on the planet. The city's ability to scale anything, to transform any event into something superlative, is real. When Dubai decides to do something, it makes it bigger, more expensive, taller, more illuminated than anything that has ever. And there are people who live there, who have actually reached the top of that structure. Executives, business, very high-income families who build a life of genuine comfort and privilege. For these people, Dubai delivers everything it promises, and more. The city isn't lying to. The lie, if we call that, isn't a universal lie. It's a lie of perspective. It's the difference between what the city shows and what it hides. The difference between the camera filming the illuminated facade and what exists on the other side of the wall. And perhaps the most unsettling aspect of all the following Dubai world. Economically, logistically, structurally, the city functions in a way that few cities in the world can replicate. The streets are clean, the trains arrive on time, the airports are efficient. The bureaucracy, when compared to other countries, is reasonably agile. Public safety is high. Within certain limits, within certain rules, the city delivers what it promised. But these limits exist, and they are harsh. Publicly criticizing the government can have serious consequences. There are laws about what can be said, what can be published, what counts as an offense against the state. The digital environment is monitored. Some communication tools are blocked. Freedom of expression has boundaries, and these boundaries are not always clearly marked, which in itself creates an effect of self-censorship. People learn not to say certain, not because they have been explicitly prohibited, but the risk is nebulous enough that's not worth it. And then you're back to the beginning. You're in your bunk bed. It's 5 in the. The city outside is waking up with that sandy light the desert casts back on the sky before the sun rises. You have a job. You have a contract. You're in one of the richest cities, and depending on who you are, you might be living a life-changing, or you might be trapped in a cycle of appearances, debt, lonely, and impermanence will cost you more than any tax-free salary and pay. Dubai isn't fake, but Dubai isn't what it seems. It's a city that has mastered the art of showing you what you want to see and hiding what you prefer not to see. And it does so with a competence that is, in itself, worthy of admiration and suspicion at the same time. The question isn't whether Dubai is real or fake. The question is, for whom is it real, and for whom is it merely the most expensive setting in the world to live out a very well-produced lie? That answer depends on where you are in the Dubai. More than any other place on the planet, it's designed to ensure you're never quite sure.